Who's the best team in the league so far this year? It's the Celtics, right?
I was going to say Nuggets.
Really?
Murray hasn't played in a while. Murray hasn't played in a while. And so the best resume to this point, Celtics.
Yeah.
The best team when everyone's healthy, when they're at their best, to me is the Nuggets.
Yeah. But they really haven't. I mean, that's been a handful of games, right?
Yeah. So you could say Celtics.
Yeah, I think
Timberwolves?
Thunder?
Timberwolves?
Timberwolves?
I mean, if we're not talking about Celtics and Nuggets, Minnesota, I think.
Look,
it's hard for me to say they're the best team. Their offense is like 18th right now.
Yeah,
but their defense is but they're winning. Amazing, so what does it matter?
Yeah,
I feel like you gotta be complete at some point.
Are the Celtics and Thunder the only teams top 10 in both offense and defense? I think that's right. I might be making that up. The crazy stat is that the Wolves have been in first place, sole possession of first place longer this season than in their previous 34 years. Combined. It was 10 days. 10 days the previous 34 years, and it's like we're at like 14, 15 days now, I think.
I'm surprised that the team with Garnett
with Garnett is a gift.
And Spreewell and those guys didn't.
But they ended up as the 1 seed, but they weren't, we're talking like sole possession of first place.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, because who else was in the West at that time? I mean, the Lakers.
The Spurs were great. The Lakers were great.
Yeah. So it makes sense that they didn't have sole possession for that long.
Yeah. That's nuts, man. That's just a crazy stat. Oh, what a tradition. Okay. Yeah. I think so. We can all agree the Celtics on that one. How about this? Worst team. Is it the Spurs or is it the Pistons? Both rocking real long losing streaks. Spurs get blown out way more, but the Pistons
it's the
Pistons.
You know what's funny? I was watching that game the other night, I think against Cleveland, and I'm watching the Pistons broadcast.
The Pistons had like an 11-game losing streak going into it against the Wizards and got mollywopped. Like they knew that was their chance to get.
They played Memphis.
Load out.
Like this is the last.
There's another chance.
Yeah,
there's another chance.
The Pistons, I was watching the broadcast the other night, and they ended up losing by like 9. That's the thing too now is I'm like, oh, they only lost by single digits like the last 2 games. Like they're figuring it out. But the broadcast was like, oh, the Pistons got their swagger back. You can see. And then they ended up just shitting the bed in the fourth quarter and losing. But it's like they are trying to clap this team back to like life.
Back. Like those motherfuckers used to be
there was swagger
team in the world.
But here's the thing, the Spurs. So I'm doing this for the power rankings.
Like Killian Hayes is just coming in fucking strutting around.
He should not be playing crunch time minutes. I don't give a shit. Who is healthy or available? Like he shouldn't be playing crunch time minutes.
Yo, that dude
That's
should not
crazy.
be playing any minutes at all.
Oh my god! Like Will Bynum's not available.
I wouldn't give him reps at practice.
Come on. The Spurs are actually solid in the first quarter, and then they just get destroyed second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. So there's a little bit of fight early on, but is it the Spurs or the Pistons? You guys are going with the Pistons?
Yeah. At least the Spurs have Wembanyama, and the Spurs to some extent, like they're trying not to be bad, but they've recognized that they're bad, and they're just like.
And their average
let's just play Sohan
right?
at point guard. Let's see what we can figure out with Sohan at point guard. Like this is just an experiment for them. They're trying to figure out what works around Wembanyama, what works for Wembanyama. The Pistons, they're just trying. They're trying to win games. They're not experimenting.
That's worse.
They really believe that Killian Hayes is like the path forward.
That's worse because this is what the argument I've made in the past when people are like anti-tanking, anti-process, hinky, all that stuff. I'm like, look, I'm not saying it's great for the game, but I genuinely think what's worse is for like 10 years, the Wolves and the Kings were trying to be good, and they were in the bottom of the league every single year. To me, that's worse than intentionally losing. Is when for like a decade straight you can't figure it out, but you're trying to.
That's more demoralizing for sure.
That's way more demoralizing.